Okay. ICL. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Public Safety Commission meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Let's stand for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Flag.
United States
United States of America,
to the
and
republic,
to the
Republic,
republic
for which stands
which stands
one
one
nation,
nation
under
under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Can we get a roll call, please?
Okay, I'm going to do the commission roll call and then I'll introduce the executive staff and our council liaisons. Chair Hunter Chang,
President.
Vice Chair Jeff Buzzell,
Present.
Commissioner Eugene Ramirez,
present.
Commissioner Al Bogue,
I'm here.
Commissioner Victoria Firestone, alternate Zilla Tobiano. Here. And then our executive staff present is Police Chief John Encontro, Fire Chief Mario Rueda, and Parks and Public Works Director Michael Throne. Our council liaison tonight is Steve Talt, and we also have council member Gretchen Shepherd Romy present.
Great, thank you. Welcome, everybody. At this time, let's see, we posted the agenda 72 hours prior to this meeting. Written communication's been distributed. At this time, do we have anybody here for public comments? Something to talk about, something that's not on the agenda. Okay. Seeing none, let's move on. Any commissioner reports? Nope. Okay. Moving on to department reports. Police Department, Chief Encontro, please.
Good evening, Chair Chang and Commission. I think there's only a couple things that I wanted to highlight for this. We've been talking about the crime rate. We know the three primary areas in larcenies or thefts that we've been facing. We've put together a pretty comprehensive plan that we've started to launch already for this year, although it'll be next month's report. But we've had meetings with business groups. We had a meeting with a group of seniors. We're putting together a YouTube video, and we plan on putting some others on how to kind of educate yourselves on crime prevention. We've passed out flyers to gardeners and homeowners about trying to keep themselves safe, and they're keeping their equipment. One key thing that's coming out of it is, and we talked about this in the town hall, is the use of technology. One thing I really want to say is innovative technology, and we were able to find the flock cameras versus the vigilant cameras. The 22 cameras that we have throughout the city have been extremely helpful in identifying suspects, of corroborating information that we've had. We have increased our stolen vehicle recovery. And it's not as if those cars are just traveling through our city to go commit crimes elsewhere. When we stop and make arrests, we're getting burglar tools, pry tools, screwdrivers, pliers, all things that good crooks need to commit a burglary or theft. We are also connecting them to other crimes. Last night, we were able to find a car, and we were able to show the movement of this vehicle with these two suspects in it through looking at our cameras as they were going from place to place. And they were seen just off of Wilson and near the area of Huntington and Granada. They were taken in custody. Both have extensive felony records. One was for attempt murder, and they were from North Hollywood. And they had equipment to use to steal catalytic converters. And we've had 3 taken last year. I think 2 last year and 1 already this year. So that helps us. It also, vehicle is also similar to other jurisdictions. So these cameras have been exceptional. And we really do appreciate the council supporting us and you, the Public Safety Commission, supporting us on the use of those cameras and that technology. The other thing that I would like to talk about, unfortunately, just last week, we lost another officer to an outside agency. He'd been with us as a cadet, great kid, really showed a lot of promise. But part of it was a better living environment, family environment for himself and his wife. And they moved out to the Inland Empire, actually more towards Menifee and Murrieta area. So they could have a house, start a family. And the commute time went from over an hour where he's living now to in the Inland Empire to 10 minutes. So there's a lot to be said for that. We did hire and we have in training our new dispatcher records clerk, Brittany Camacho. And Brittany lives close by and she's enthusiastic, she's sharp. I'm very excited to have her on board. And I feel confident to say that she'll get through the training, but being a dispatcher is a very difficult job. The only thing to add is, we do a lot of work in trying to hire people. We had interviews this past weekend, or rather a written test. And I think we had about 60 interviews in the past few months just for police officer applicants. It is so difficult to get someone. There's less and less people applying. But our Sergeant Candace Torres is out there all the time. And most of our new applicants are folks that need to go through a basic academy, which, as you all know, adds about a year or so to the ability for them to be out on their own. And we've had a couple good things with two laterals, our Officer Abington and Officer Lopez. One was from the school district police in LA, and the other one was from Pasadena Community College. So we keep working on the laterals because it's easier, quicker, and these two folks are really good. Abington handled a pursuit by himself just off training, and Officer Lopez recovered a firearm inside the vehicle. So we really do appreciate what they're doing and the caliber of folks that we're getting. Beyond that, we're deep into preparation for the budget year with submitting some requests for CPI to Michael Throne. And we're looking at different technologies that will help our folks reduce time behind the desk and be able to get back out in the field right away. And if you have any further questions, you'll probably ask me about motorcycles. We got them. We're waiting because of COVID to send our two folks to motor school in April. Our new vehicles are on their way, I believe, to the outfitter, and they will be hopefully 4 weeks for completion and then back at us. And a reminder, our new cars will be all black with a new logo design on the side that clearly shows our department and moving forward. And the officers are very excited about this new style of police vehicle, and hopefully it'll get them to do even more work than the great work they're doing now. So thank you all very much. If you have any questions, I'm available.
Go ahead, Commissioner Bogue.
Chief, in your report that was attached to our agenda, you indicated you had 3 sworn openings and 3 cadet openings. Does the loss of this latest individual mean you now have 4 openings?
Yes, sir, it does.
Oh, dear.
We have, I'm going to interview a cadet, and I'm hoping to be able to interview a couple of police applicants within the next few weeks when they're finished with backgrounds. Unfortunately, again, those are recruit level. And so that adds to some more time for us.
It also adds substantial cost, doesn't it?
Yes, we're asking for we will be asking for an increase in our budget For recruitment, the fire department has experienced similar problems in recruitment. Recruitment costs money. The backgrounds cost money. And so we're going to keep asking, and it's just part of the process, but we're also doing as much as we can to reduce that cost and try and find better applicants before they even get to some of those more costly part of the process, such as backgrounds, the psychological and the medical.
Just to remind me, those officers similar to the gentleman who just left to go to Menifee, we hire them, we pay them, and we send them to school. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Just like our teenagers.
Yeah, exactly. But the point, I guess, the point I'm getting at is that we need, if we're going to have to hire entry-level people, are we going to need to also include more money in the budget for the cost of training them? I'm trying to visualize how this all works out. It sounds like they're employed, that we employ them, but we are not able to use them while they're going to the academy. Is that, if I got that right?
Yes, sir. The hiring process, we do it very quickly, and we're generally done within 6 months. Some places it's a year, sometimes it's longer, but we've been able to push people through without sacrificing quality applicants within about 6 months or less. Once they're hired, the recruits go to a academy. Generally, we have been hiring them about 4 to 6 weeks prior to the academy. We found that adding that 4 to 6 weeks as a police recruit enables us to help work on their physical fitness, work on their academics that they're going to be facing in the academy. And we're able to do some other things that get them more prepared for the academy. This will cut down on the chances of losing them in the academy or even during the probation process once they're done. So they'll enter the academy, and as we have one recruit right now who's with the LA Sheriff's Academy, she is about halfway through. There was a delay because her class was shut down for a couple of weeks because of COVID. Everyone was exposed. And then after 6 months, it's anywhere from 16 to 24 weeks of field training before they're prepared to go by themselves, still under the observation of a training officer and our supervision. And then once they show their ability to be by themselves, usually another 4 to 6 weeks, then they're out on their own, and we have confidence in them. And they'll eventually finish their probation period, which is about two years.
Thank you. I have a second question if you're open.
Absolutely.
It'll be at the March meeting that we'll be discussing the capital equipment and budget. Based on the experience you've had with the cameras that we've acquired, does it make sense to consider asking for more camera resources?
It sure does. And I can see that in our future.
Okay, well, I'm just asking because I think my guess is that the commission would be supportive.
Well, thank you. We have good coverage. I would like to have better coverage with a small number of additional cameras. Like I said, these things are just amazing. And 3 other agencies within LA County, San Gabriel Valley, in fact, are adding these same cameras. We'll be able to exchange information and data from their cameras. And again, the more that are showing up across the valley here, the better it'll be for us to solve crimes. And these things are just amazing. I am really happy with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody else have any questions for Chief and Contro on the police report? Seeing none, okay. Thanks again, Chief. Can I get a motion to receive and file the police report?
So move.
Thank you, Al. Second?
Second.
Jeff? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Okay. Great. Moving on to the fire department report, Chief Rueda.
Good evening, Commissioners. You have my written report in front of you. I did want to highlight a few things. The surge of COVID that we're actually observing from the provider end is actually tracking with exactly the information public health is providing. Our call load has leveled off and even tapered. I will tell you, though, that the people we're actually transporting are very sick. So we're seeing the worst of probably the worst of the COVID patients, but the numbers that we saw last month, beginning of the year, has dramatically declined, and that's been amongst all the provider agencies. We saw at a point where our local hospitals were at least discussing dramatic plans to try to deal with patient overload. And fortunately for everybody, those those practices were only implemented in a few instances. The other part of our response to COVID has involved the upkeep in the vaccination information. The state has now changed to a third system of signing up and oversight of the vaccinations to Blue Shield. That is not in place yet, and we'll have to see what that entails, but we do field and walk through a number of calls from residents trying to make appointments, and we've assisted a number of people in trying to facilitate that process. The other thing I included in this month's report was just a brief description of 3 plans that are part of our city's emergency operations plan. It's one of the 2 required plans for cities. And the 3 plans included a response for cybersecurity, earthquake operations, and the third is extreme heat and power loss in our city. Those 3 plans have been completed and sent to our disaster council, which is made up of 2 of our council persons appointed by the mayor. And we're in the review process of those plans, and we'll be bringing those to full council, and I'll bring them to the Public Safety Commission once they're approved by the council, and we include them in our city's plan. The last thing, I know Chief and Contra touched upon staffing. Our issue's a bit different. We seem to have plenty of candidates applying. We are just having a tremendous amount of difficulty hiring what we consider the most qualified candidates. We've made 2 job offers in the last 2 weeks, and that was after completion of backgrounds, medical. We fitted them for their protective clothing, and at the last minute, both declined, stating they were going to other departments. So that was a real disappointment for us. So we're back to the drawing board, adding additional people back through the background process. That is, I think, the 3rd or 4th individual that has declined employment after going through a number of our processes. I've asked HR to do interviews on all of those individuals because they weren't really open to providing us, the fire side, what the rationale was for declining employment with us. But But it was a disappointment, and we're going back to our list to see if we can secure additional candidates to put through backgrounds. So, and we do currently have still have three vacancies. And that well, there's one other incident I actually wanted to point to. On January 15th, we've had an individual that had take up residence on Bedford Road. And during the height of our last month's extreme fire conditions that we saw in other parts of our region, but we did see low humidity, some wind here. The firefighters responded to a small fire in vegetation next to a house on Bedford Road with a wood shake roof. And we extinguished the fire. We found the individual that started the fire, a cooking fire, but given the conditions that we encountered, the potential danger, our arson investigators made an arrest, and that individual is still in jail now facing charges for lighting a dangerous fire. So I did want to point that out to you. We work in concert with the detectives in filing these cases. And in this case, this was right in our backyard, and our arson investigators and detectives did a great job. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chief Rueda. Have any questions for Chief Rueda on the fire department report?
As usual, I just have a comment, if I may.
Yeah, yes, sure. Go ahead.
Chief, you included in your report a reference to the Lynn Riley Red Mug Award. How nice for Jeff, and how nice that the community, that people that you work with recognized someone who went the extra mile. I think that the members of our community would benefit from knowing about that as well. Maybe I missed it, but I wish that had been picked up in the Tribune or something. It's a very nice story.
So sometimes we battle putting out information that may cross the line of violating our the laws surrounding HIPAA.
Yeah,
because they are very restrictive. But in this case, the firefighters led by Jeff Sy did such a great job. I wanted to make sure the commission and others were aware of the kind of work they're doing.
well, pass along our thanks for the effort.
Thank you.
Yes, I second that. Kudos to Jeff. Any other questions for Chief Rueda? Okay, can I get a motion to receive and file the fire department report?
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, Gene, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Chief. Moving on, Parks and Public Works, Director Throne.
All right. Well, thank you, Chair Chang. As in the same format as the chiefs, you have my report in front of you. I would like to highlight a couple of small things. One that's really important to me is that we're about halfway through the recruitment process for a new public works manager. Our public works manager retired at the end of December, and we started recruitment right away. We had over 50 some applicants to it. We had 11 that we had a panel interview on, and we are interviewing 5 this week, 5 semifinal candidates, as it were. And I would like to thank Commissioner Bogue and the Vice Mayor for talking to me about this position and some of their thoughts that they've had through their interactions as part of the ad hoc committee. So I very much appreciate that. It was some valuable insight that will help me with my recommendation to the city manager for an appointment. The other thing that did come up, and I believe this was at one of our last meetings, was just all the different ways that individuals can contact Public Works. And I put that in a box at the end of my report. You obviously can reach us by telephone at either City Hall or at Lacey Park. We have an email that is for the Public Works Department. And then we have the Go Request app, which the commission is familiar with because you've seen it demonstrated, I believe, at least twice. And you can also access for service requests on the city's website under How Do I, and then it's Report a Public Works situation, and you can go right there. You can report it, geocodes it, you put in your email. We're able to communicate to you when we're working on it and when it's complete. I know that Vice Chair Buzzell loves using it, and I always very much appreciate that. And I even know that Commissioner Bogue uses it. And so I know some of our council members do. So when you have someone that says, you know, how do I report this? And the best way really is to use either of those two communication methods, because we're able to track its progress and be able to report back to folks. Besides that, there's more information on the progress of some of our capital projects that will be in an update that's later on in your agenda. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Throne. Any questions for Director Throne, Parks and Public Works? Okay, seeing none. Okay, can I get a motion to receive and file the Public Works report? Thank you, Al. Second?
Second.
Okay, Jeff or Gene, same time? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Director Throne. Moving on to new business, approval of minutes. Any questions on the minutes from the last meeting? Okay, you get a motion to approve the minutes from our January 4th meeting.
So
I'll
moved.
move. I'll second.
Okay, I don't know who moved first. Did you get
Al.
that, Jennifer? Al,
Oh.
okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on, fiscal year municipal budget schedule. Who's gonna be presenting that? Is that you, Director Throne?
Yes, it is.
All right.
On behalf of my two colleagues, we have before you the council's municipal budget calendar. As you can see on the second page there of the report are all the different meetings and the topics wherein the council will be discussing not only the general fund operating budget, but also the capital purchase and capital improvement budgets. The commission will be seeing the draft capital equipment and improvement budget at your next meeting on May 1st. And that's a draft that will include certainly the requests from both the chiefs and from myself as it relates to equipment. And then there'll be the capital improvement project descriptions and their status on that. I mean, you've all have seen this. This will be, I believe, the third year that, so there won't be any surprises in format. It'll really be a good place to have discussion on that. The council will be also meeting on March 19th and March 26th to speak separately, one about capital equipment, one about the capital improvement. And the commission is, of course, welcome to attend those meetings and lend your support to any of those items that you all feel strongly about. And then the budget study session, the commission will see at your April 5th meeting, the draft police, fire, and public works, the department operating budgets. And you'll have an opportunity to weigh in there, ask the chiefs and myself detailed questions about how our operating budgets are put together, and lend your assistance or support or your comments and suggestions as to things that we can tweak on it. And then that will go to the full council on April 30th, and then again on May 7th, with the ultimate plan that by May 28th, the council has adopted the manager's proposed budget and capital improvement program. So that's sort of like part of what your agenda is going to be like for at least the next 3 months. And any comments or suggestions you have now, or if you want to wait, if there's any things you think we should purchase or things you think we should build, you can definitely lend those now. If you were attending the council's or the city manager's town hall just about an hour ago, you would have heard that the council has also started to bat around ideas for items to put on their priority initiative list. And they're certainly, I'm sure, more than willing to listen to any questions or comments you might have on that offline. And that concludes my report, Chair Chang.
Thank you, Michael. Let's see. Any questions on the schedule, upcoming schedule for the budget? Okay, great. Can I get a motion to receive and file the calendar for our upcoming meetings?
So move.
Thank you, Jeff. Second?
Second.
Al and Jean, okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Michael. And the next one is the status on capital equipment. Also, Director Throne.
Yes, thank you, Chair Chang. We decided this year to give you a mid-year update as how we're doing with our capital expenditures for both equipment and for capital construction. So the report does outline where we are in terms of our success in expensing those items that we've said that we're going to do. And when it comes to capital procurements, all the departments have been able to purchase all of the equipment that they have requested. That's very much a success, especially with the fire department in ordering their rescue ambulance, and of course Chief Incontro in his shiny all black police cars and his two motor units, which are very fabulous. I'm very excited for him on that. We do have a project to procure some new audio visual equipment for the bathroom. And that is something that Public Works is working on right now with a vendor. And we expect that to be, if not completely completed, mostly completed by the end of the fiscal year. As it relates to capital construction, you know that we've got 5 focus areas for capital construction: right-of-way, parks, civic facilities, wastewater collection, and stormwater. In general, we are proceeding ahead. We've actually accomplished a lot of the major projects. Pretty much everything is underway. What's not underway is either those items that we've yet to have a need for. For instance, we do reserve a certain amount of money for urgent storm drain replacement or urgent sewer replacement. We've had no need for that this year. So if everything goes according to plan, those funds will not be expensed. They'll go back into the capital reserve and then probably come back out again for appropriation. We've got all of the major stuff underway, either completed or in process of design or getting close to being constructed. And we then also threw in there about $170,000 of renovation to the police facility, which was completed on schedule on December 30th. And so that's actually a capital project that kind of came in and out very, very quickly. Not the way we typically would like to do a capital project. We'd like to have a little bit more planning time. But it did generally turn out satisfactory, and we were within our budgets to do that. So I can answer specific questions you might have about the capital program, and this completes my report.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions on the capital report?
If I may.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Last month, I asked a question or two questions about the improvements or repairs at City Hall. I just want to, and I think that some things were still in process. Did the renovation or remodeling of the little entrance area for the police department, did they get finished? I should go look, except I'm trying to hide these days. So.
Yes, the remodeling of the lobby is complete, as well as all the new flooring and repainting of the interior and the electrical upgrades we did and the air conditioner. So short of building John a new building, we're trying to build it from the inside out currently.
Great. So he's got a smile these days when we talk to him about that.
Yes. About half of his folks are in an alternate location, which is some COVID spacing that we're currently doing for his department, because he's got a lot of people and not a lot of physical distancing. So he has some folks in an alternate location. And you know this, that when you move out, it always takes a long time to move back in. So when you see John in his background, that's not a background image. John is still moving into his office.
And we also spoke about the slight modifications in the fire department area. I think they were waiting for some flooring a month ago. Is that still a waiting situation, or?
We are. We actually solicited 2 more bids also in an effort to try to make sure we cover the entire fire station with the allocated money, but we're moving along.
Okay, you don't need anything from us?
No, not at this
Great.
point.
Okay, well.
Michael maybe, but not the.
Yeah, well, if you need us to inspire him, let us know. Thank you.
Any other questions for Director Throne on capital expenditures? Okay, thank you for that report, Michael. Can I get a motion? Get a motion to receive and file the capital report? I'll make a motion. Or I'll second.
I'll second if there isn't one.
Okay, thanks, Gene. All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Any last comments? Any from our city council liaisons, Councilman Tout or Councilperson Chaparami?
Yeah, this is Steve Talt. As I mentioned at our last city council member, I would like the Public Safety Commission to really take a critical look at equipment that our public safety personnel specifically would, and with all due respect to Director Throne, specifically the fire and the police, and see what type of new technology is out there. Because we've seen such success with this flock, I would like a jump in with both feet by the Public Safety Commission to take a look at new opportunities. And I know that that's going to depend upon the 2 chiefs to probably put together ideas, but let's take a critical look at that because now's the time to continue to update our public safety. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Talt.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I know Director Throne generally said there were goals, and I don't have your agenda packet, so I don't know if you saw the first kind of rough list of goals that the city council came up with at our last meeting. And if you would have the opportunity to give comments, on those goals and add your own in any area, but particularly we do have the second item as a safe community. And I think we just have the start maybe of one or two things there. So I don't know if it was included, and I didn't know if there was an opportunity for you guys to add. I know Al Bo was on the town hall immediately prior and had a suggestion or two. But I wanted to get the input because we're really in the brainstorming part of this from this commission on public safety in particular, but even generally on the other, our city has we created a set of priorities that we want to focus on that represent some of the ideas. So to get your input on those would be helpful for all of us. Thank you.
If I might, Chair Chang,
Yes,
if it's acceptable to you and the commission, I can send out tomorrow to the commissioners the goals that the council members is referring to, because I believe only Commissioner Bogue was on the town hall meeting, and that way then you can see what our council member Gretchen Romy, I'm sorry, Councilmember Shepherd Rami was discussing just now.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Okay, any other last comments before we adjourn? Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for the first Monday in March 1st at 7 o'clock via Zoom. So with that, if there's no other questions, meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank you.